And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar right here on BearcatJournal.com. Go visit our good friends at Hail Mary's. They're in Cheviot, right on Harrison Avenue. They're in the Dora District. You can walk from bar to bar with your drinks, or you can just hang out with our good friends at Hail Mary's. They've got 27 TVs, 9-screen video wall. There's not a bad seat in the house. They subscribe to every sports package that DirecTV offers. They have all the games, and Cincinnati sports will always be on the video wall. They've got a brand new walk-in cooler, brand new draft lines, and not only do they pour the coldest Cincy Light around, but they do so in 32.8 degree frosted glasses. Go get yourself a Cincy Light. Maybe watch the Bearcats. If you don't have tickets, go watch the Bearcats on Saturday take on Arizona State. We'll get to that here shortly. But Wednesday night games, Aaron, make it a little tough because we gotta do double duty here on Thursday. That means we got to roll through what happened in the Big 12 this week, and we got to get ready for Arizona State on Saturday. So no wasting time, no chatting. Let's get right to it. Maybe the biggest game of the week in the Big 12 in terms of the top of the standings. Arizona at home pretty much dominates Baylor. Baylor made a little bit of a run in the second half to make the score closer than it seemed, but Arizona was up 42-19 at halftime. They win 81-70. Arizona's cooking. They are good. They are cooking.
I watched some of this game. I turned it off to watch the UCF Arizona State game.
Yeah.
Without changing back and forth anymore, because it was such a blowout. It's so strange because this is not the Baylor team that I feel like we saw. They were struggling offensively in the first half. It was very weird.
Arizona's good. Like they're big, they're long, they've got a good defense. And really Caleb Love played well. I think that's kind of the wild card for Arizona right now. When he plays like an All-American,
he had 8 points.
They are real. I know, but I thought the way that he played, he didn't shoot well, but it just felt like he impacted Baylor's defense so much, I guess is what I mean. Like,
it's crazy that you're saying that because he was 3 of 10. Like that's
he didn't score. He didn't score, but Baylor was so ultra focused on him,
sure,
that it allowed the other Arizona guys to really get going.
Yeah, you still had 3 guys in double digits. You had Jaden Bradley with 13. You had Henry Visar and KJ Lewis. Visar with 19 and KJ Lewis with 11. So yeah, it did certainly, but you still had 8, 8, 9, 8.
Right, that's what I was going to get to. Like those guys didn't like that magic number of 10. They didn't get to 10, but everybody else was at 8 or 9. Arizona is going to be a problem.
It was an efficient night. Look, if you're losing a game where you hit 48.2%, and again, that was after Baylor struggled mightily in the first half, but you lost a game shooting 48%. That's crazy because Arizona shot 54%.
And they only took 14. They were 50% from 3. They only took 14 threes. They looked at Baylor's size and said, we're going to dominate you at the rim. 29 of 54 overall field goal percentage, 53.7%. I just walked away from that game like really impressed, even more so with Arizona. Moving right along, Kansas State probably should have beaten Texas Tech. But Kansas State just crumbled down the stretch. Texas Tech gave them every opportunity to win that game, and they couldn't.
Kansas State didn't score in the final 5+ minutes of the game.
Yeah,
that's not how you win games. I would have lost my mind. I would have lost my mind.
Texas Tech didn't score. I think Texas Tech scored 2 points. It was Texas Tech was up 2 for like 4 minutes, and nobody scored. And then Texas Tech got a layup to make it 4, like right at the end, and win by 4. The final 4 minutes of that game, the final segment of that game, was one of the worst I've ever seen in basketball history. It was terrible. Terrible.
Wasn't for lack.
BYU.
I was just gonna say, it wasn't for lack of guys in double digits, because you had 4 guys for Kansas State in double digits. You only had 7 points from your bench in an 8-man rotation. That's bad.
Yeah. Kansas State stinks. Like, again, if this doesn't get to where it needs to be, we are going to look back at that Kansas State game to open Big 12 play and go, that's where it all went south for Cincinnati.
I called that game as the most important.
You did. Congratulations. BYU finally gets things kind of clicking. They drill Oklahoma State 85-69. Trevin Nell, update, Aaron. Have at it.
Big game for Trevin Nell. 6 of 12 from the field, 4 of 9 from the arc, 18 points to lead all scorers in this game.
Yeah.
He had himself a day.
He did. Abu Usman, the former Xavier Musketeer, who had 27 in their last game, had 13 and 7. He kind of looks like the best player for Oklahoma State right now, but they're not good. They are 1 and 4 in Big 12 play. A game relevant to Cincinnati, just because Arizona State is up next on the schedule. UCF had one of those nights again, Aaron, that happened like 3 times a year. In regulation, 95-89. They scored 49 in the first half, 46 in the second half, and they pop Arizona State. The crazy part, UCF is let's find them. They are 70 or they're 59th on offense in KenPom, and they just strangely have these games where they score like 90 points out of nowhere.
Well, it wasn't out of nowhere. Keyshawn Hall lost his entire mind. He he blacked out. He
40.
He had 40. He scored as many as Cincinnati scored
in the Kansas game.
In the Kansas, I mean, the dude, I think he had 20, 26, 29, something like that at halftime. It was unbelievable. And he just kept pouring it on. And look, Arizona State, they shot 53%, 52.6%, and lost a game shooting over 50%. That's crazy. You had 2 guys with 20 points, 2 guys with 20 burgers.
You remember the little kid that had his tooth pulled, and the mom and dad put the camera on him as he was riding in the back seat of the car, and all he said was, "What's that like? What's that like? What's that like to score 86?" And Cincinnati scored 88 points last week. Arizona State scored 86 or 89. They outscored Cincinnati last week. They scored 89 and lost.
Well,
yikes.
Quaintance had a game. He had 20 points, 7 rebounds. And BJ Freeman had 26. You had 2 more guys with double digits as well. But my goodness, UCF, they're a wild card. You want to make some money?
They are.
Don't bet on UCF because you never know.
Because you never know. They're going to score 57 or they're going to score 90. Like, just crazy. No consistency at all. Yesterday, Iowa State 74, Kansas 57. Curtis Jones is a bad mamma jamma. He had 25. He had 20 at halftime, and then hit one from the logo to kind of put a dagger in that one at the end. He might be a first team All-American. He started yesterday. He's been their 6th man.
He started over who? Deshaun Jackson? No.
Who their center? They benched their center, and then Momcilovic is out as well. But he might be a first team All-American, and he's been their 6th man.
I bring up who he started over only to say I read a tweet that said one kid looks like he's having the time of his life out there right now, and one kid looks pissed off at the world. And he still had 17 off the bench. Look, they're deep. You want to talk about a team of depth?
So good. But I mean, you want to talk about a team. We always like this team's not fun to watch right now when we talk about Cincinnati. You want to talk about a team that's fun to watch? Iowa State is so fun to watch because they are incredible defensively, and just as fun to watch on the other side of the floor. Like,
Yeah.
they're so good.
Well, when Hunter Dickinson has 6, KJ Adams has 4,
Yeah.
DeJuan Harris.
Harris, 8 points, 7 assists.
8.
Like, that was their leader last night.
Not great.
No. Houston is beating the brakes off of pretty much everybody they play right now.
Humming.
They beat West Virginia 70-54. West Virginia felt like they had some momentum. Now they're at 3-2. I don't know what, like Houston got the exact opposite of Cincinnati, where Cincinnati got Baylor, Kansas, Arizona, like 3 of their first 4 games. Houston hasn't played. Like, West Virginia is the best team they played, but they are just drilling people right now.
Yeah, Juwan Roberts, who I believe played LeBron James in high school, he had 22 points on a 10 of 13 night. Led all scorers with 22. Just like LJ Cryer chipped in, just 18, no big deal.
Who was the guy from Kansas? Remember the guy from Kansas a couple years ago that had been there for like 100 years? He had like the receding hairline all the way back to here. There was the joke that he had been at Kansas forever. I think that guy was a freshman when Juwan Roberts was a freshman.
I thought maybe it was Juwan Roberts.
Perry Ellis. Perry Ellis. That's his name. Remember, everybody joked about Perry Ellis being at Kansas for 1,000 years. They were freshmen together. Juwan Roberts came in the same recruiting classes. Perry Ellis.
Unreal. Emmanuel Sharp, though, gets 14. They're beating everyone, and they're making it look easy.
Yeah. Utah with a nice road win, 73-65 over TCU. TCU they're a little bipolar. I think they're not good. I think as we get like through the Big 12, things are going to fall apart for them. They're one of those teams I think like they could end with 5 or 6 Big 12 wins. Give credit to Utah. Got the job done. Gabe Madsen, 17.
On a 4 of 15 night. Yuck. 2 of 11 from
2 of 11 from 3. 7 of 9 from the line. He got to the line. Like, when you're not hitting shots, how about you get to the free throw line, Aaron? How about that?
It's a crazy concept, I know. Mason didn't see the floor in this one.
I think he might be hurt. Remember we talked about a couple games ago? Yeah.
Yep.
We probably could research that, but what fun is that?
If I cared.
TCU, Vasan Alete with 19, Noah Reynolds with 12, Micah Robinson with 10, but they shoot a very Cincinnati-esque 37% from the floor, and, 47. They slashed 37, 35, 47. 47% from the free throw line, 10 of 21. Utah only made 28% of their threes, but more than enough to handle a TCU team that I don't have a lot of faith in.
And you've said the same thing about Utah, so I don't know. We'll see if this Utah team is for real or not. But they took care of business at TCU.
Well, the thing I've said about Utah is they rely so heavily on the 3 that when they have a bad night shooting the 3, especially on the road, you would expect them to lose.
Yeah,
they had a bad night shooting the 3 on the road and still got to win. So
yeah, that's because you were 6 of 21 from the arc, but 49% from the field.
Right.
You figured it out.
Yeah. Let's get to Arizona State, Aaron, as the Bearcats get ready for their game Saturday. The key is going to be twofold. BJ Freeman is very good. Can hurt you from all 3 levels. He's dynamic as a scorer. He's their leading scorer at 13.3 a game. They're not a good road team. They do play pretty good defense. They're right now they come in at 92 on offense in KenPom, 50 on defense, kind of middle of the road in tempo. but they've been a much better home team than they've been a road team.
Yeah, you're worried about BJ Freeman. I'm worried about Jaden Quaintance. Truthfully, I think that he's coming
he
off a
hasn't
20
been as
point.
good on the road. Yeah,
He's coming off a 20-point performance though.
sure.
He averages almost 9 rebounds a game,
Yeah.
and he had a relationship with this staff. I think he's going to be out trying to prove, hey, remember me?
Yeah, but the only reason I don't buy that is because he didn't get shunned by Cincinnati.
No, and I understand that.
Wanted him.
I understand that, but I still think that there's a certain. I think it still puts a little juice into the game for him.
Maybe because you know the staff, like you know. I just don't think you're playing with the chip on your shoulder for a staff that's like, we want you, and you were like, no, I'm good. I'm going to go somewhere else. Like, you're not trying to prove anything to them.
Arizona State is very different than Clifton.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I have long said.
It's a lot warmer. It's a lot warmer down there.
Right. I have long said if I could do it all over again, the one place I would probably go coming out of high school would have been Arizona State. That looks like a very prestigious university that you could get a great education.
You wouldn't have made it 4 years.
No, I might not have made it 4 weeks. I might not have made it 4 days, Aaron.
In
my
any
dad
case,
be like, "Why are you home?" And you're like, I tried, bro. I tried."
Who else you worried about here? I know you got Jihad, who averages.
I was going to say the question will be Josen Sanan, the guard. I think it's probably nowhere close to right. He has been in and out. I think he's only played in one of the 4 Big 12 games. Not sure if he's going to be able to go or not. That's their second leading scorer. Bashir Jihad is their third leading scorer. And then Alston Mason. Those 3 combined with Freeman, they have a very balanced attack. Those 4 guys are all at 11 to 13 points a game. And then Jaden Quaintance at 9.8, Adam Miller at 9.5. So they've got 6 guys right at double digits. So it's not as easy to they're kind of doing what we expected the Cincinnati team to do, right? Where things would be spread out and one guy occasionally would go for 25. We haven't had anybody. When's the last time somebody scored 20?
Look, I don't want to even think about it. It makes me we're working with let's score 50 as a team. I'm not worried about who's scoring 20.
So they're very balanced. They're young. So they haven't been as good on the road. Again, I've mentioned that a couple of times. But you've got to win this game at home. You have to win this game at home.
They're fast. They did a lot of stuff in transition against UCF. And look, UCF had their foot on the gas as well, and they were hitting everything as we talked about earlier. But I don't know. They were – I had a lot of fun watching that game. Maybe it was because everybody was making everything, and you had no idea when the wheels were going to fall off for somebody. And it just so happened that somebody had to finish the game with a lower score, but everybody was making everything. It was ridiculous.
I hope you bet the over in that game.
I didn't touch that game. Are you kidding me?
You could have won. You could have moved back to Cincinnati if you bet the over in that game.
I don't think I've gambled in like a month. There's too many mouths to feed here, man.
You used to gamble like $1.
Yeah, well, I did. Lots of dollars here and there, throwing dollars all over the place.
Now $1, like that goes a long way when you're trying to feed that many mouths.
When was the last time you went out to eat? I mean, it costs $48 for 3 people to go to Chipotle, and we got 6.
Right. Yeah, that's $100 at Chipotle to feed your family.
Stupid.
There's no more money left to gamble on a random UCF Arizona State over.
That's the difference between getting guac and not getting guac.
To guac or not to guac. That's FanDuel's new. That's their new company tagline, to guac or not to guac. I mean, rock fighting Boulder, Jakumovsky with his junk in his hand. Like, you are on fire lately, man.
Well, I know you guys have talked about tonight, and I did want to say, Dave mentioned if you want to get back on track in transition, I think this is a game where you certainly have an opportunity to do that because Arizona State's going to be looking to push the ball and run. And if you're trying to pressure, figure some shit out, man. Like, play downhill. I would love to see Jizzle James rediscover, oh, I can lay up a ball.
The only thing that worries me is I think Cincinnati has been really good with, like, we need to shut this guy down. Like, except for, like, Eric Dixon, like, an elite guy. I don't think Arizona State has an elite guy, but I don't think you're able to look at this roster and say, like, if we take this guy away,
right,
we're going to win. Like, they've got 6 guys that can all put 20 on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that is a legitimate concern about this game, is you're not able to, like, scouting report, you know, Julian Hammond. They take Julian Hammond out, Colorado is not going to beat you. And they were right.
Correct. Yeah.
I don't know that you can do that with Arizona State. So that concerns me in terms of, like, everybody's going to have to be locked in defensively. And I think Aaron, the part that scares me is that I don't think Arizona State has players as good as Baylor, but I think because of what I just said, they can kind of do things to you that Baylor did to Cincinnati's defense, where you can't take away, if we take away this guy, we win. Okay, that doesn't work when you've got a bunch of guys that can score and get the ball to, you know, where they want, different spots on the floor. So, boy, people are going to be mad at me for saying this, Aaron. Defense is going to be the deciding factor in this game. If Cincinnati can take away what Arizona State is trying to do, I think they win the game. If not, it can be an uncomfortable Saturday afternoon at Fifth Third Arena, where the Bearcats are fighting for their life to win a home game in the Big 12.
I think the matchups are going to be fascinating. I imagine you have Dan, I guess, on BJ Freeman.
I have no idea what the matchups are going to look like. I really don't.
I assume you'd have Aziz on Quaintance. You'd have Jizzle on Mason. And then I guess, like I said, Dan on BJ Freeman.
Or you play Day and Jizzle together because they go a little bit smaller. Like you have Jizzle, or Day to take out Freeman. Like I've looked at it and kind of like tried to map it out in my brain. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Do you start Seamless off the? I don't.
No. You don't let him get hot and then put him on the bench, Aaron.
So who you putting him on? I guess Jihad, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's a fascinating game to me because I've watched them some. I don't have a lot of answers for how Cincinnati matches up.
I don't think I want Seamless on Freeman.
No, I don't think so either.
So I don't know. And then Dylan Mitchell.
That's why
Mitchell? It's
that's why people get 7 figures on their checks, and we work here.
Matchups will be fascinating.
All right, that's going to wrap it up. We will see you guys Saturday post game, probably 6 o'clock, somewhere around there. That is the Nightcap, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar, live from the Cincy Light Studios, right here on BearcatJournal.com.